The second pass for shadowing just won't go. I wonder if there's something wrong with my buffers. Is it that 20? I've been programming for 26 hours? I guess it's time to do this review. Good day, fans. Jay Wellington Robofellow here for this month's video review. I've been asked to read this letter. This month's review will be terribly interesting, since I am such a namby-pamby whiny baby, and Tyranus is the spankingest man in town. We'll be doing a duet versus review of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Though the game is awful, no doubt, I just couldn't resist getting my pink, spongy tush handed to me by such a magnificent specimen of masculinity as Professor Tyranus. There, now can I get my monocle back?
Not yet, Jay. Not until the end of this review. I don't want you getting cold feet on me.
Fine. Man your battle stations! Alright, let's do this.
Oh, Jay. It's going to be fun murdering you repeatedly.
Before we get our online showdown underway, let's talk about the other two gameplay modes, single player and zombies.
But everyone only buys the game for the multiplayer, and you know it.
I'm well aware, but AristoGamer would be remiss if we didn't cover everything in the game.
Here's the review of Zombies. It's the same game with better matchmaking and a leaderboard with different maps. Done. Now let's get to it.
But the single player definitely merits talking about, even if it's only for a short while.
Very well then. I suppose I'll let you marinate in the thoughts of your many deaths before the execution.
Creepy.
Quick disclaimer, I never actually played through the single-player campaign of the original Black Ops, and perhaps it would have added a level of enjoyment to this game that quite frankly it needed. You see, it wasn't the nonsensical technological warfare plot or the repetitive missions that got to me, it was the campiness. I can't tell if Treyarch was joking or not. You know that stereotypical FPS, the one that they show in all the TVs and movies where the kid's playing and there's awful one-liners spouted everywhere and kill streaks and giant blood everywhere? Yes, that game is no longer fiction. It's actually the single-player content of COD Ops 2.
God, yes, it's like somebody took The Expendables and thought that it would be an Oscar-worthy film and made the premise into a game. I mean, but without the air of it even being a joke. Oh, there's this trashy, generic rock music that kicks in whenever it's time to mow down some enemies. The characters yell commands and plot points, and everyone is either killed or saved in the nick of time.
It's a game comprised solely of BK stackers and no steak. There's not one non-fast foodie moment in the entirety of the single-player campaign. It's all camp, all the time, with very little sincerity to attempt to draw the player into its world.
And also oh, wait, did we just agree on something?
And yea, for he brought his mighty hammer down upon the crown of the weak, reducing the mass to nothing more than carrion swirling in blood.
Where did you get that from?
My diary. From kindergarten.
Let's just play the game!
As much as I'm going to enjoy murdering you, I almost wish I had picked a better game than this.
A better game? Like what?
Something with a little more originality. Call of Duty has been essentially the same game since 4 was released 5 years ago.
Has it already been that long? Wow. Well, the multiplayer has nothing wrong with it. There's no need to give it a major overhaul. I don't see you complaining about how Counter-Strike Global Offensive is the same game.
But it is! You know that as well as I. Though both are enjoyable, there's little reason to purchase the more recent games if you have the older ones.
Oh, no, that's not true. Beyond an ever-shifting player base, you've got game balance mechanics and stage shifts and perks are changed and new game modes are added.
And why couldn't we have any of those done in DLC form? TF2 has had all those, and it's still the exact same game. Hell, it's even free.
Okay, now you're arguing the difference between incremental releases and DLC. I agree on principle, but I don't really mind paying $60 every year for 200 plus hours of entertainment.
It's gamers like you that make the market get complacent as they fill the store's shelves with shovelware each year. They copy and paste the same drivel and just give it a new coat of paint and you're all happy.
Then I suppose I'm an idiot for liking this game.
Well, acceptance is the first step. Or killing yourself. Either would make me smile.
You have to at least admit the game looks great.
Polygon count is about as good as a PS2 game, so if that's what you're going to call looking great, then of course it does. The only redeeming quality is the smooth frame rate, which shouldn't be hard with how low quality it is.
But the action looks so good, though. None of that cinema blurring or frame rate drop. You could tell a lot of time was put into testing this game to make sure the graphics experience remained consistent.
But that's like saying you have to give credit to McDonald's for producing millions of those awful little hamburgers every day, when they could instead produce higher quality but lower quantity products.
Now, I'm not really paying much attention to visual details, only the action. That's what this game is about, though I can see how you wouldn't know that with how poorly you're doing this round.
I'd pay attention to the leaderboard before handing out any guff, you scrubby whelp.
Nice work.
Good thing it's the end of the round. I do have to go get the door.
Now that I can get a word in edgewise, another thing I like about Black Ops 2 is how fast the guns and gameplay seem to be. The graphics have always been fluid, but the guns in this game just seem so much faster, which makes combat that much more intense. And this change places emphasis on not only getting the drop on your enemy, but also being accurate while you do it. If you start firing at somebody for more than 3 seconds and they're not dead, chances are you're in big trouble. Oh, here we go again.
And by the way, it's people like you that disappoint me the most. You're willing to discount this entire game just because it's a yearly release. You let your irrational negativity get in the way of you having fun, and that's just sad.
Ooh, that must have struck a chord. Yes, that's right, someone in your life doesn't approve of you. In fact, I bet most people wouldn't, what with your disgusting obsessions and deplorable demeanor. Your entire personality both frightens and sickens me.
I'm having tons of fun playing this game just because it's fun, and you have no right to judge me or anyone else for that. You're so full of malice, it's corrupted you down to your core, and even something as simple as playing Call of Duty has been fetishized for your haunting interests. You want to know what my conclusion is? Buy this game if you want to play games online. The single player is downright hokey, the zombies mode is pretty standard, but the multiplayer has enough additions to make it worthwhile. New maps, guns, and faster combat all make this a great game to purchase. Buy this game if you liked other Call of Duty titles, or just like a good competitive FPS game. See how easy it was to embrace that, you miserable fool? Thanks for watching our video. You can see more by clicking the links here, and subscribe, and do some other stuff. Talk to us on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Good, I'm glad you're crying. Maybe now you'll actually do something productive with your life instead of tormenting me with your presence.
Well, this is how you welcome me back into your life, Jay. If that's how you feel, you don't have to worry about seeing me ever again, you horrible, horrible man!
Eleanor?
Oh, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, Eleanor. I thought that Jay would have been better by now, but as you can see, he only seems to like to hurt the people he loves. Forget about him and don't let him bother you anymore. I thought this introduction of you two once again would be able to maybe find some common ground in the only medium that seems to still his beating heart. Senseless violence. I promise I won't let him hurt you again.
Let's just go.
You know what you could use? Ice cream? I'll pawn off this worthless monocle and get you 3 scoops with sprinkles.
Let's go.
Eleanor White, I didn't know! I didn't know. This has been Jay Wellington Romefeller, bidding you a good evening.